This is the Wikipedia page for Manhole cover. Welcome to WikiListen, the podcast where we read Wikipedia pages and provide commentary. I'm Rachel Teichman, LMSW.
And I'm Victor Varnado, KSN.
Have you ever been inside of a manhole?
Did you mean that how it sounded?
How did it sound?
It sounded sexual.
I meant it however you'd like to take it.
No. Both meanings.
Well, then I bet you're excited to find out what manhole covers are like then.
Sure. Let's go for it.
All right. Manhole cover. A manhole cover or maintenance hole cover is a removable plate forming the lid over the opening of a manhole, an opening large enough for a person to pass through that is used as an access point for an underground vault or pipe. It is designed to prevent anyone or anything from falling in and to keep out unauthorized persons and material. I've never heard it called a maintenance hole cover. I think that's interesting.
I mean, that's basically what it is for the city streets, so they can go do maintenance.
It is. I've just never heard
right?
it called that. It does make sense. I've just never heard it.
Gotcha. Manhole covers date back at least to the era of ancient Rome, which had sewer grates made from stone.
Description. Manhole covers are often made out of cast iron, concrete, or a combination of the two. This makes them inexpensive, strong, and heavy, usually weighing more than 113 kilograms, 249 pounds, citation needed. The weight helps to keep them in place when traffic passes over them and makes it difficult for unauthorized people without suitable tools to remove them. I don't know how true that is because I definitely saw a homeless person come out the ground from a manhole.
I'm sure there are exceptions. Manhole covers may also be made from glass-reinforced plastic or other composite material, especially in Europe or where cover theft is of concern. Because of laws restricting acceptable manual handling weights, Europe has seen a move towards lighter weight composite manhole cover materials, which also have the benefits of greater slip resistance and electrical insulating properties.
A manhole cover sits on a metal base with a smaller inset rim which fits the cover. The base and cover are sometimes called castings because they are usually made by a casting process, typically sand casting techniques.
The covers usually feature pick holes, into which a hook handle tool is inserted to lift them. Pick holes can be concealed for a more watertight lid or can allow light to shine through. A manhole pick or hook is typically used to lift them, though other tools can be used as well, including electromagnets.
Although the covers are too large to be easily collectible, their ubiquity and the many patterns and descriptions printed on them has led some people to collect pictures of covers from around the world. According to Remo Camerota, the author of a book on the subject titled Drain Spotting, 95% of Japanese municipalities have their own cover design, often with colorful inlaid paint.
Despite their weight and cumbersome nature, manhole covers are sometimes stolen, usually for resale as scrap, particularly when metal prices rise.
Manhole covers may be marked to indicate what sort of services exist under them and what group maintains those services, such as the local water system, telecommunications firm, subway or train services, or natural gas firm.
I also have natural gas from my butt.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The name manhole is sometimes changed to make it gender neutral. The city of Berkeley, California, for example, changed the official term to maintenance hole in 2019.
I support this. Shape. Circular. The question of why manhole covers are typically round in some countries was made famous by Microsoft when they began asking it as a job interview question. Originally meant as a psychological assessment of how one approaches a question with more than one correct answer, the problem has produced a number of alternative explanations from the tautological manhole covers are round because manholes are round to the philosophical.
Reasons for the shape might include a round manhole cover cannot fall through its circular opening, whereas a square manhole cover might fall in if it were inserted diagonally in the hole. The existence of a lip holding up the lid means that the underlying hole is smaller than the cover, so that other shapes might suffice. A rouleau triangle or other curve of constant width would also serve this purpose, but round covers are much easier to manufacture.
Round tubes are the strongest and most material-efficient shape against the compression of the earth around them.
A round manhole cover of a given diameter has a smaller surface area than a square cover of the same width. Thus, less material is needed to cast the manhole cover, meaning lower cost.
The bearing surfaces of manhole frames and covers are machined to assure flatness and prevent them from becoming dislodged by traffic. Round castings are much easier to machine using a lathe.
Circular covers do not need to be rotated to align with the manhole.
A round manhole cover can be more easily moved by being rolled.
A round manhole cover can be easily locked in place with a quarter turn, as is done in countries like France, which makes them hard to open without a special tool. Lockable covers do not have to be made as heavy to resist being dislodged.
A round flat metal casting will typically warp in its center, concave or convex, leaving the rim flat and evenly supported, whereas a casting with multiple sides will typically warp at its corners, which allows the grate to rock as traffic crosses it.
You know, that's a lot of good reasoning for having round manhole covers.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be in this article, but I'm really, really glad it is.
I think that's definitely something that I'm going to keep with me and will become part of conversation when I'm at parties and being like the boring guy who talks about the most boring thing. I'll bring this up.
I'm going to do the same thing, except it won't be boring because people are going to care.
I can't wait till she starts talking about manhole covers again. Oh, invite her.
Yeah, in fact, the day after this recording, I'm going to a party and I'm going to talk about manhole covers. In fact, I'm going to make a PowerPoint about manhole covers to present at this party.
That is a lie.
I don't think it is a lie.
Okay, we'll see what happens next time on WikiListen, everybody. We'll see if she actually did. Other manhole shapes can be found, usually squares or rectangles. For example, in the United Kingdom, nearly all manhole covers are square or rectangular and very occasionally triangular, but almost never circular. Nashua, New Hampshire is unusual for having triangular manhole covers that point in the direction of the underlying flow. In 2011, the city began gradually phasing out the triangles, which were made by a local foundry because they were not large enough to meet modern safety standards, and a manufacturer for larger triangles could not be found. Some manhole covers in Hamilton, Bermuda are triangular and hinged. Some triangular water main covers also exist in San Francisco.
A robotics research paper in 2011 suggested that robots could examine the shapes of specific manhole covers and use them to calculate their geographic position as a double check on GPS data.
That's a good call. Security and safety. See also urban exploration and stray voltage. In urban areas, stray voltage issues have become a significant concern for utilities. On January 16, 2004, Jody S. Lane was electrocuted after stepping on a metal manhole cover while walking her dog in New York City.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that sucks. As written, everybody. As a result of this and other incidents, increased attention has been focused on these hazards, including technical conferences on stray voltage detection and prevention.
Because of their aerodynamic design, some modern racing cars create enough vacuum to lift a manhole cover off its recess. During races on city streets, manhole covers must therefore be welded or locked down to prevent injury. In 1990, during the Group C World Sports Car Championship race at Circon Villeneuve, located in a public park in Montreal, Quebec, a Brune Motorsport Porsche 962 struck a manhole cover that was lifted by the ground effect of the car he was following, a Courage C24 Porsche. This caused the trailing Porsche to catch fire, and safety issues ended the race shortly afterwards. Citation needed.
Well, I'm glad nobody was hurt, and I hope I can find the video of that Porsche catching fire. Theft. The theft of manhole covers often increases when scrap metal prices are high.
Manhole cover theft can be a serious problem in China, where missing manhole covers caused at least 8 deaths in 2004. According to China's Xinhua news agency, about 240,000 manhole and street drain covers were stolen in Beijing in 2004.
In China Shakes the World, James King describes the phenomenon.
In the several weeks beginning in mid-February 2004, when slowly at first but with mounting velocity, manhole covers started to disappear from roads and pavements around the world. As Chinese demand drove up the price of scrap metal to record levels, thieves almost everywhere had the same idea. As darkness fell, they levered up the iron covers and sold them to local merchants who cut them up and loaded them onto ships to China. The first displacements were felt in Taiwan, the island country just off China's southeast coast. The next were in other neighbors such as Mongolia and Kyrgyzstan. Whenever the sun set, pilferers worked to satisfy China's hunger. More than 150 covers disappeared during 1 month in Chicago. Scotland's Great Drain Robbery saw more than 100 vanish in a few days. From Montreal to Gloucester to Kuala Lumpur, unsuspecting pedestrians stumbled into holes.
In Newham, East London, nearly 200 grates and covers were stolen in 2004. A manhole cover designed by artist Anthony Gormley was stolen in 2013, 10 years after its installation.
In the city of Kolkata, India, more than 10,000 manhole covers were taken in 2 months in 2004. These were replaced with concrete covers, but these were also stolen, this time for the rebar inside them.
In March and April 2012, Ajax, Ontario and Niagara Falls, Ontario had dozens of manhole covers stolen.
In December 2021, Chatham County, Georgia reported 30 manhole covers stolen in a single day.
That's so many covers.
That is a lot of manhole covers, or a lot of people reporting them.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. That's something to think on. Propelled into space. According to urban legend, a manhole cover was accidentally launched from its shaft during an underground nuclear test in the 1950s at high enough speed to achieve escape velocity. The myth is based on a real incident during the Operation Plumbob nuclear tests when a 900-kilogram, 1,984-pound steel plate cap was blasted off the test shaft at an unknown speed and appears as a blur on a single frame of film of the test. It was never recovered, but it likely burned up in the atmosphere due to friction. A calculation before the event gave a predicted speed of 6 times Earth escape velocity, but the calculation is not likely to have been accurate. After the event, Dr. Robert R. Brownlee described the best estimate of the cover's speed from the photographic evidence as going like a bat out of hell.
Really? I think it's funny that they threw shade at whatever mathematician did the first calculation. They didn't say why it wasn't accurate. They were just like, it's probably not accurate. Neil did it. And then it didn't say Neil either, but that's what I feel like they said.
I think they're just jealous.
Loading classifications. The European norm EN124 of 1994 applies to manhole and storm drain tops with a clear opening up to 1 meter for areas subjected to pedestrian or vehicular traffic. Covers with a clear opening over 1 meter are specified in the British standards BS 9124, for example. EN124 specifies several weight classes depending on the application and is also being used in some countries outside the European Union. The lightest class, A15 cast iron manhole, can withstand a maximum weight of 1.5 tons. It would typically be restricted to light-duty applications in pedestrian areas, gardens, patios, driveways, and similar. The heaviest F900 class manhole cover would typically be used in docks, airports, and other extreme heavy-duty applications.
Heavy duty sounds like poop.
Heavy duty or heavy dookie.
True. That also sounds like poop. EN 124 does not apply for gratings of prefabricated drainage channels according to EN 1433 or floor and roof gullies in buildings specified in EN 1253-1.
The Fabricated Access Covers Trade Association, FACTA, provides its own specification, which came into effect in 2013. It has a similar scope as the EN 124, focuses on wheel loadings, and is based on the European standards for structural steelwork. The FACTA specification applies to solid top covers, recessed covers designed for structure or non-structural infill and surface draining products.
As art. In Japan, a number of manhole covers have been featuring artistic designs since the 1980s. There is enough interest in them to allow merchandise and conventions with an estimated 12,000 designs spread across Japan by 2019. These could be found in nearly all cities and towns in the country. Popular media franchises such as Gundam and Pokemon have also been featured in the covers with hundreds of Pokemon-themed manhole covers across Japan.
The utilization of manhole covers as street art has also been done in Taiwan and Vietnam.
Exciting.
Right? It is exciting. You learn so much about manhole covers. That's actually one of the things I do like about these mundane things, Wikipedia pages, is there's always something new to learn. Like all of the reasons that manhole covers are round, those were great.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Although I like the little tidbit that one place has triangular manhole covers that point in the direction of water flow, which is also interesting.
That is actually very interesting. And I learned the rouleau triangle. I learned about the rouleau triangle.
Oh yeah, the old rouleau triangle.
Mm-hmm. This has been the Wikipedia page for manhole cover. Thanks for listening to WikiListen. You can find us at wikilisten.com and on all social media at WikiListen, except for Twitter, which is at wiki_listen. Don't forget to subscribe.
If there's a particular page that you'd like us to read, please let us know.